Please adhere to YouTube selected guidelines before viewing the content of this video. I do not encourage or condone any products, actions, or behaviors shown in this video. All videos are produced in a safe, professional, and controlled environment. Please do not attempt to replicate any actions performed during the video. All actions are performed by professionals. Alrighty, so today I'm going to be drinking a bourbon and Coke for the first time, which is something I have been meaning to do for the last little while now, ever since I tried bourbon for the first time. Because when I tried bourbon for the first time, I had a thought in the back of my head, and that thought was something along the lines of, wow, I think this stuff would taste pretty good mixed in with Coca-Cola. And so as such, well, I'm going to be finding out whether that's actually the case or not today. Just how good or just how bad will a bourbon and Coca-Cola actually be? Well, I don't know, but I'm looking forward to finding out. The bourbon I've got with me today is some Four Roses small batch bourbon from the United States, which cost me somewhere in the price range of $35 to $40, if I'm remembering correctly, for 750 milliliters. And the alcohol inside this bottle has a 90 proof with a 45% alcohol per volume. I completely forgot all the specifications about this alcohol before this video today, I will acknowledge, but that is a-okay. That's the bourbon I'm going to be using for this video today. And for my Coca-Cola, I have a nice, crisp, cold can of caffeine-free American Coca-Cola. Nothing too special, just not quite normal Coca-Cola, I will readily acknowledge. But I do suppose, without further ado, I should probably go ahead and grab my glass, grab my stirrer, and I suppose I should also probably move my camera back just a little bit, just so y'all can actually see what I'm doing and whatnot. Let's move it back just a little bit more, I think, as well. Just like that. I think y'all can now see what I'm doing. And so now that I have moved the camera back and whatnot, let's go ahead and get my Four Roses small batch bourbon all opened up. And let's go ahead and actually get to, well, mixing up my first ever bourbon and Coke. Ooh, nice little pop out of there. No complaints on my behalf. Smelling it. Smells good. Smells like it would pair well with Coca-Cola in my personal opinion. Let's go ahead and pour her in. How much do I want? I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm going to say, yeah, that much. I'm going to say that much should do. And then I'm pretty much just going to fill up the rest of the glass with Coca-Cola. And that is going to be my plan. Ooh, nice snap back on as well. No complaints on my behalf, let me tell y'all what. Let's go and get my Coca-Cola opened up now. Nice crisp opening, man. This opened well, this closed well, this opened well, man. Getting all them satisfying noises today, certainly no complaints on my behalf. I'm just gonna pour it in, just like I'm doing. Just like that. And I'm now just gonna simply mix it up. Now, I do realize that adding lime juice might be a good idea, but this isn't a rum and Coke. This isn't Cuba Libre. This is a bourbon and Coke. So I figured I'd just try bourbon and Coke, bourbon and Coca-Cola today. Oh man, my fork. There was a little bit of the like foam on my fork, and I whisked it over, and then some of the foam fell off and went right on my pants. Hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. But let's go and smell this drink real quick. Smells more Coca-Cola-like than anything, as to be expected, I will acknowledge. But there's a little bit of bourbon in there as well. Can't complain, you know what I'm saying? Can't complain. Let's go ahead and grab my camera once again, my phone once again. And let's go ahead and just get all comfortable, move everything where I want it to be. And now, I do think, without further ado, it is time for me to go ahead and take a sip of my first ever bourbon and Coke for the first time. And I think it's time for me to find out just how a bourbon and Coca-Cola actually is. Yes, sir, you know what I'm saying? Interesting. The bourbon definitely still shines through very much in the undertone. Wow. Wow. Yeah. It's definitely different than a rum and Coke for sure. I'd have to say rum definitely complements, or maybe not all rums. Many rums complement the flavor of Coca-Cola a lot. And while this bourbon, I'm sure not all bourbons, but while this bourbon in specific definitely does do a good job of complementing the flavor of the Coca-Cola, it also still shines through quite heavily in the background. interesting. I'm definitely getting, I'd have to say, a little bit more spice than usual. I'd have to say the main flavor I'm getting is definitely that from the Coca-Cola. It's very much out of a sort of sweet brown sugar, molasses, caramel color, caramel-like flavor, with a little bit of an undertone of slight vanilla. And I'd have to say the flavors of the bourbon are combining to some extent with the flavor of the Coca-Cola. From this bourbon, I got a little bit of caramel, a little bit of vanilla, and whatnot as well. A little bit of brown sugar, molasses kind of thing as well. But there's definitely some different flavors going on with the bourbon as well that are different than what you would find in Coca-Cola. And for this one, at least, it's very much out of a sort of like corn-like flavor, I want to say. Having just thought back on the flavor of the Four Roses small batch bourbon when I tried it for the first time, there's definitely a sort of corn-like flavor. I can't remember if that's something I mentioned the first time I tried it, but in retrospect, that's definitely a flavor that was very prominent. And it's definitely a flavor I'm able to notice in this drink. Sort of like almost a smooth, buttered corn flavor. So I'd have to say this bourbon and Coke, my first ever bourbon and Coke, is very much giving me the flavor of a smooth, sort of slightly creamy corn with undertones of caramel, brown sugar, molasses, and a little bit of vanilla as well. And that's very much the flavor I'm getting overall. There's a little bit of an alcohol hit as well, without a doubt. But it's much more minor than if I was taking similar size sips of just straight bourbon, of course. Excuse me. Yeah, overall, not bad. Nice little bit of depth to the flavor, without a doubt, even though I did pour quite a bit more Coca-Cola than bourbon, which is just my personal preference, I will acknowledge. I realize some people might prefer a 50-50 mixture or a 50-75 mixture, or maybe not a 50-75. That math doesn't really work out. A 1-to-2 ratio, or a... some people might prefer 1-to-1, or some people might prefer 1-to-2, 1-to-2.5. I personally like 1-to-3, I will acknowledge. And that's roughly what I did, maybe more like a 1-to-4. It works, it tastes good, it doesn't give me too much of an alcohol hit, but it still gets me a nice buzz. That's what I personally like. Although using less Coca-Cola may grow on me over time, so I don't want to say it's something I'll do forever. I might not, who knows. But even with the amount of Coca-Cola that I use, the flavor of the bourbon definitely still shining through. And the more that I'm sipping on it, the more that I can notice that there are definitely some differences between even the comparable flavors between bourbon and Coca-Cola kind of thing. Like, and there's definitely a little bit of spice as well. Definitely a little bit of spice kind of in my mouth that's not normally there from Coca-Cola, and I can definitely say it's coming from the bourbon just because it tastes like the bourbon spice. So there's definitely a little bit of spice going on as well. But I'd have to say overall, you can also definitely tell the difference between the, like, let's say, caramel flavor in the bourbon and the caramel flavor in the Coca-Cola. One tastes like caramel color, and the other tastes like caramel kind of thing. And then the sort of vanilla flavor, it's probably about, you can't really tell the difference too much with that specific flavor. But like the brown sugar molasses, you can definitely tell the difference between the two flavors. It's just kind of slightly different, I'd have to say. One is more brown sugary, one is more molassesy. I'd have to say Coca-Cola is more brown sugary to me, whereas this is probably, the bourbon is probably more molassesy, or maybe vice versa. I can definitely just say, though, that I am getting comparable tastes from the bourbon and from the Coca-Cola when it comes to some of the undertones, but I can also tell where those undertones are coming from to an extent. I can tell some of them are coming from the bourbon and some of them are coming from the Coca-Cola, even if I'm getting the overall undertone of, like, let's say, vanilla, for example. I can somewhat tell which part of the vanilla is coming from the bourbon and which part of the vanilla is coming from the Coca-Cola, for example. Yeah, overall, I personally think bourbon and Coca-Cola, pretty solid pairing. Is it as good as a rum and Coke, though? It's different. I wouldn't really say it's just as good or worse or better or anything like that. It's just different. I'd say, well, I was about to say, I did say, I did say, quote unquote, I wouldn't say it's just as good. I would say it's just as good. I misspoke there. I meant to just say, I wouldn't say it's better. I wouldn't say it's worse. It's just different. And that's really what I did mean with that statement, I will acknowledge. It's just different. It's not better than a rum and coke. It's just different. It tastes somewhat different. There's different undertones to it, but it's pretty solid overall in my personal opinion. And it's definitely something that I like. And for me, a bourbon and coke is, well, something I think I can definitely see myself drinking again in the future. And it's absolutely something I can see myself drinking a lot more so than not in the future, without a doubt, especially if I have a bottle of bourbon that I'm not really enjoying sipping straight all that much. I enjoy sipping this straight, but let's say I had a bottle that I didn't enjoy sipping straight, I would definitely be mixing into Coca-Colas, that's for sure. But yeah, overall, solid pairing in my personal opinion. Solid mixed drink. Yeah, I'd have to say I like bourbon and Coca-Colas, without a doubt. Now y'all might be thinking, this is getting towards the end of the video. Oh, no. We're mixing up another one. We're mixing up another one, without a doubt. I'm using this whole thing of Coca-Cola right here. We're mixing up another one, you know what I'm saying? Definitely got a little bit more alcohol-y towards the end. Not much, though. But overall, yeah, I think I can confirm, having now finished off my first ever bourbon and Coca-Cola, that, yeah, it's pretty solid. I'd have to say it's just as good as a rum and coke. Not better, not worse, just as good, but different, I will acknowledge. I wouldn't really say that each of them fit the exact same occasion. I definitely want a rum and coke on one day and a bourbon and coke on another day. They're not reversible by any means. You can't use them interchangeably. Although, you could if you really wanted to. I personally would be craving a rum and coke or a bourbon and coke, but not both at the same time, more than likely. I'd want one or the other. Yeah, overall, solid bev in my personal opinion. Definitely a solid 4 to 4 for me. Let's go and mix up another one, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna put my camera back once again, bring it down just a little bit. I got a little bit of a buzz going, you know what I'm saying? Got a little bit of a buzz going. First off, I know people don't generally like seeing mixer first. I just don't know how much Coca-Cola I got in this can, so I'm gonna pour mixer first, and then I'm gonna put some on top, just because I don't know how much I got. And I did not have as much as I thought, so that is something I'm very glad that I did. I only had that much. I only had that much, which isn't nearly enough, or it isn't nearly as much as I thought, I will acknowledge. Let's, I'll pour a little bit of bourbon in. Not too much, not too much. Yeah, it should do just fine, I'm thinking. Hot! Scared myself there. But let's go ahead and mix it up now with my fork. Just like that. Wow, the sky is very pretty. Sun's kind of going down just a little bit. Not quite day drinking today, but drinking as the sun about to go down. I'm like, it's still daytime. It's still daytime. So technically speaking, I'm day drinking today. So I ain't got no complaints on my behalf. But the sun is going down, so it's about to not be day drinking weather, I will acknowledge. It's about to be night drinking weather, which night drinking is fantastic too, but it is certainly ain't day drinking. There's a difference between the two without a doubt. Man, there's bugs. It's like really nice today, but there are some bugs flying around right now, and that is not so great. It's not even like summertime. It's currently, excuse me, March. It's currently March as of recording this video. So I don't know why there's so many bugs around. Hopefully it gets cold again, kills all the bugs, and then this summer we have no bugs. Yeah, I say that every year, and then it never happens. God, I need all the mosquitoes to die. I hate mosquitoes. They're like the worst. Absolutely the worst. And the worst thing about summers in my local area is that mosquitoes love this porch I'm sitting on right here. They love it. I don't know why they love it so much. I think it's because, and this is one of the reasons why I love this porch, even on windy days, this porch is not super windy because it has like a fence. There's other areas the wind can go through, and this is just not the best area for the wind to go through. So this has a lighter breeze than other areas of the yard and whatnot. And I think that's why they like this porch, but means that I'm not really willing to drink out here during the summer because I get eaten alive by mosquitoes. It's not all bad though, it just means I want to go somewhere else to drink outside. Let's take a sip of my second bourbon and Coke. Yes, sir, yes, sir. Ooh, no complaints on my behalf. I'm gonna go and grab myself a little bit of a screenshot for the thumbnail real quick, I do think. So let's position my camera properly, and let's see if I can grab one. Fix my hoodie a little bit. You know, gotta make sure, looking spick and span for the thumbnail, of course, of course. It's what the presentation of the video is, so gotta be looking spick and span, what can I say, you know what I'm saying? Well, hopefully one of those will do as a screenshot for the thumbnail of the video. We will find out, you know what I'm saying? We will find out. I feel like that was pretty solid, but worst case scenario, I can always grab another one after this video. It will be what it be, I do suppose. But, excuse me, overall, feeling good. Now, some of y'all may be wondering why I decided to have a drink today. Of course, it wasn't just because I wanted to try drinking a bourbon and Coca-Cola for the first time. The second reason why I decided to make this video today, the second reason why I decided to have a drink today and to make a video all about it, is because I wanted an excuse to have an alcoholic beverage. Yeah, I wanted an excuse to have an alcoholic beverage. And, you know, I was like, well, let's have myself a drink and make a video all about it. And there's my excuse to have an alcoholic beverage because I'm making a video all about it. It's my evil laugh right there. I'm feeling like Dr. Nefario right now. Yo, Dr. Nefario from Despicable Me got drip, bro. That dude, goated character for real. I already know Dr. Nefario from Despicable Me. He be hella drinking, he be hella buzzed all the time from many different things. Dr. Nefario he's dripped out. He's got that stuff going, you know what I'm saying? I haven't ever seen any of the Despicable Me movies except for the first one. I've watched the first one like 4 times, just like over the years. It's a banger movie. It's so good. I haven't seen any of the other ones though. I really should. What was I about to say? Yeah, why am I making this video today besides the fact that I wanted to try a bourbon and Coca-Cola? Well, because I wanted to drink. That's why. Why am I making this video today? Aside from me just wanting to try a bourbon and Coca-Cola, because I want to drink. I want to get some alcohol. I want to get a buzz. I want to get a little bit of a buzz. I want to have some drinks. And that's why I'm making this video today. I'm using this video as an excuse to drink. We ball, you know what I'm saying? We ball. Yes, I have a buzz going, I will acknowledge. Feels quite nice. This second bourbon and Coke, quite good as well. I don't think I put quite enough bourbon in it, but it's still very solid, and I'm still very much enjoying it. So I ain't got no complaints on my behalf. Let me tell y'all what. Got a nice buzz going, enjoying my bourbon and Coca-Cola, and overall feeling pretty good. What do I think some good pairing with this would be? This Coca-Cola is really sweet, so like something that's like not super sweet. Ritz crackers. Ritz crackers. Yeah, I'm gonna have to say Ritz crackers. Ritz crackers are banger. They're really good when you're hella buzzed, I ain't gonna lie. I think I'm just wanting some Ritz crackers right now. I can't eat them, but I can eat knockoff ones. A little bit of a breeze hitting me, clouds in the sky, seeing pink in the background as the clouds kind of fly away, just seeing the sun bounce off of them. It is very pretty. Oh wow, it's actually very pretty. Wow. Yeah, it's very pretty if I do say so myself. No complaints on my behalf. Yeah, that's very nice. I like that. I try to admire the scenery around me. I try to admire the nature around me as much as possible when I'm sober, and sometimes I'm feeling like doing it. Sometimes I'm just sitting down, completely sober, chilling out, just enjoying the scenery, just enjoying the nature around me. And sometimes I just can't focus on it. Sometimes I'm just like, man, I can't focus on the nature around me. And so I get a little bit of a buzz. And then I'm like, wow, oh my God, it's so beautiful. And that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. Because I was like, wow, those clouds are really pretty. Well, that was my second ever bourbon and Coke right there. I enjoyed it a little bit more so than not. Certainly no complaints on my behalf, that is for sure. Overall, do I like or dislike bourbon and Coca-Colas? I'd have to say, overall, I like them a little bit more so than not. And I also feel as if they are, well, pretty solid beverages as a whole. I think they're just as good as rum and Cokes, just different. And if I was craving a rum and Coke, I wouldn't be craving a bourbon Coke. If I was craving a bourbon and Coke, I wouldn't be craving a rum and Coke. I like both of them, but they're different enough to make it where I don't want to use them interchangeably, I will acknowledge. And overall, excuse me, 4 out of 4 for the, well, bourbon and Coke I made today. 4 out of 4 for bourbon and Cokes in general, I do think. Certainly no complaints on my behalf. I enjoyed drinking a bourbon and Coca-Cola mixed drink for the first time today, and I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. I enjoyed making this video. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. I had a great time today. If you guys have enjoyed watching this video, of course, like, subscribe, check out my Instagram, my book, my merch, my P.O. Box, and my other channels, all in the description down below. Go check them all out. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Till the next one, stay safe and peace, and have a great one. Yes, sir, you know what I'm saying?